Hey YouTubers, I'm far from here. Today, I was going to begin on the topic of religion. I've been having some religious debates with some buddies of mine, and I've been watching the YouTube videos on YouTube about religion, and it's seems very divided between the atheists and the creationists, and there's not much middle ground from what I can see. But I had watched this guy's video. His name's Sami Zaatari. Sami Zaatari. He made a video called "Proving the Existence of God," and it's a video. I guess it's a response to a video where he posed 3 questions to atheists. And I'm not going to tell you what my own personal beliefs are just yet. That'll probably be for a later video, if at all. But he asked these 3 questions that are posed to atheists, and they are as follows: did you create the universe? Number 2 is did creation create itself? Or through natural phenomena, did creation come into being? And number 3, if not 1 or 2, then who? And he says that the previous questions imply a who and not a what. I'd like to respond to each of these. Firstly, by saying, well, let's start with the first one. Did you or me create the universe? And I think the answer to that could be it could be yes, it could be no, or it could be maybe. So I know that's not very definitive, but perhaps you or you and I or you individually do create the universe. In a sort of reverse matrix kind of thing where it's all in your head. Everything is projected by you. There really is no universe outside of what you perceive and project upon the world. And in a sense, you are the creator, because it could be like a Alice in Wonderland sort of scenario where it's all just a fantasy. Nothing's real. It's all just in your head. Sort of like the Matrix, but you're not plugged into anything. You're actually projecting out the universe. And maybe that's kind of a waking dream sort of thing where you're in a dream and none of it's real. Or maybe it's just as real as real gets. Maybe the other people are maybe they have their own souls. Maybe you've created them. I don't know. So did you create the universe? Did I create the universe? Or did we create the universe? There's also the idea of our collective minds, or our collective consciousness projecting the universe into being. So that we're all little gods and goddesses. And I think that's a great idea. I think that is plausible. That we project reality, or higher sentient life projects reality. What's the reality of a rock? And I think what's the reality for a dragonfly? Or I'm trying to think of something that it sees in like X-rays or something like that. Point is, reality is different for everything. But all right, let's move to question number 2. Did creation create itself, or did creation come into being through natural phenomena? Now, he said that most of the atheists said to this no, or they didn't know, but I would say that this is, probably the most plausible one, that creation created itself, which is a weird idea, but, perhaps, perhaps there's just a natural flow, of, let's say the Big Bang is, the big explosion at the beginning of each time, and the Big Bang explodes, and for a very long time, the universe expands, and then the universe collapses upon itself, turning back into the super dense, ultra hot little, Genesis molecule that it explodes and creates the Big Bang. Perhaps that's the cycle, and that is nothing but a natural rhythm that flows just as a river flows, or as the gravity pulls the water down the rocks, as gravity pulls down any object. Maybe it just flows. Maybe creation just happens because it was intended that way. And I think that has a sort of Taoist, Buddhist, nature religion sort of connotation to it, that things just flow, and things just happen because they're supposed to happen, and the heavens are in order, and the earth, is in order with the heavens, and so on. So perhaps creation did create itself. Okay. Well, question number 3. So question number 3 was, if not one or two, then who? And I'll just answer the question, assuming that I couldn't answer number 1 and 2, which I think I did. But, who? Well, I think it is possible that there is a creator God. But I just think that he would have used natural phenomenon to create. So it goes back to number 2, that, for example, in this case, I think evolution is a good example, and I'll make a whole video about my beliefs on evolution and spirituality later on. But I believe that that if there is a creator, well, he designed all the natural laws of physics, and he designed gravity and tweaked it to just the right amount, and, for the relative to the mass of an object, he tweaked the gravity to a perfect amount. He set the laws of physics perfectly in motion. He perfectly and flawlessly set up a system of life which keeps the proliferation and continuation of life going on basically autonomously into infinitum forever. Evolution is the perfect intelligent design. Paul Stamets, he's actually an author about mycology, mushrooms, but Paul Stamets, the author, he says that evolution is God's intelligent design, and I think that's a great way to look at it, and I think that could apply to the universe too, in that God, he would sit around in the void or whatever one day, and or maybe God is the void, and the void was sitting around one day and decided to create certain laws of physics, decided to create certain materials and that sort of thing, or however it happened, but he set up the natural order, and then he set it into motion. I think this is something that Newton and his peers of the time believed, and in that time period was called the watchmaker theory, in that the creator built this thing and then he set it into motion to run. So I think that God's more something like the accumulation of the physical law, the laws of physics. Excuse me. But he's more than that, of course. But I think that's a basis of God, and it's obvious that God set up those laws of physics, and of course we don't have to call him God. We can call him Tao, or the ultimate, or the higher force, or the one, or the I think some of those names they lend a connotation of forceful power, which is not what I think God or Tao is. I think it's it's more like a breeze of life, and of organizational capacity, which breathes life into beings, and it gives inspiration. It causes things to evolve. It's where good ideas come from. It's what true love feels like. I think God's something more like that. I think God is love. I think every religion in the world can agree on that one. I think we'll leave it at that. God is love.